Rachel was 28, working at the local library, a job she actually loved. It wasn't glamorous, but it was hers, and she liked being surrounded by shelves of stories. That's where she'd first met David, 31, a lawyer who had wandered in one afternoon looking for some obscure law book. She'd helped him track it down, and just like that, sparks had flown. Fast forward, and the two had been together for years. Engaged, wedding just 6 months away. Everything lined up neat as a row of books on a shelf. But then, Rachel's friends started pushing. See, Rachel hung out with this group of women, some married, some single, all of them deep into feminist talks and leveling the playing field. At first, Rachel thought it was empowering, fun even. But lately, they'd been pushing a new idea. Hard, open relationships. Every time they got together, whether it was coffee or wine nights, it came up. Rachel, you have to try it. It's the future of relationships. At first, she laughed it off. Not for her, not for David. But the more they pressed, the more those voices wormed their way into her head. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm missing something. They're my friends. They want what's best for me, right? So one night, Rachel sat beside David on the couch while he was scrolling his phone. She took a breath and said the words that cracked their picture-perfect world. What if we tried an open relationship? David's eyebrows shot up. His face stayed completely blank, the same poker face he wore in court. Rachel babbled on. About freedom, trust, choosing each other every day, all the bullet points her friends had drilled into her. The longer she talked, the more nervous she got. Her palms were sweating, her words stumbling. It's not that I don't love you, she rushed. It's just, don't you think it could make us stronger? Still, nothing from David. Just silence. Finally, after what felt like forever, he stood. I need to think about this, Ray. He grabbed his keys. I'm heading to the bar. The guys are waiting. And just like that, he walked out. Left her sitting there, heart hammering, wondering if she'd just destroyed everything. David was reeling. On paper, he had it all. Steady career, dream girl, wedding on the horizon. And now this. At the bar, his friends Chris and Ethan were already halfway through their beers when he arrived. They took one look at him and knew something was off. Rough day in court, Chris asked. David shook his head. No, it's Rachel. She wants an open relationship. Chris nearly spit his drink. What? Does she think life's like a restaurant menu? Try Chinese today, Vietnamese tomorrow. Ethan frowned. Big red flag, man. Either she's already seeing someone, or she's lining someone up. That hit David like a punch. Was she already cheating? For 2 hours, they dissected it. Why now? Why 6 months before the wedding? What could have changed? Chris swore it was Rachel's friends planting ideas in her head. Ethan wasn't convinced. He thought it came from somewhere deeper. By the time David left, his head wasn't spinning from alcohol. He'd barely touched his beer, but from all the possibilities. Back home, lying in bed alone while Rachel was out with her friends, he replayed every scenario. The longer he thought, the clearer it became. It wasn't about the open relationship itself. It was about trust, commitment. If Rachel could throw all that away for the illusion of freedom, what hope was there for their marriage? The next morning, Rachel woke up with a pounding headache, courtesy of last night's cocktails with the girls, who'd been hyping her up like she'd just invented electricity. You go, girl. Tom's going to love it. Welcome to the 21st century. They'd said it so convincingly that Rachel actually started to believe it. So when she stumbled into the living room and found David watching Formula One with the volume cranked up, she figured, perfect chance to pick up where we left off. She plopped down beside him. Hey babe, about last night. David didn't flinch, eyes glued to the race. Fine. She let it go until the checkered flag waved, then followed him into the kitchen. Determined. Have you thought about what I said? She asked, grabbing a pan to make breakfast. David leaned against the counter, arms crossed, silent. Rachel cracked eggs, tried to sound casual, but her words poured out fast. Growth, honesty, new experiences, no more secrets. She practically sold the idea between flipping eggs and burning toast. David's brow furrowed. What about jealousy? Trust. That's the beauty of it, Rachel insisted, sliding a plate in front of him. It builds trust. We'll be choosing each other every single day, not because we have to, but because we want to. David chewed slowly. What about our engagement? Our wedding plans? We're still getting married, she promised quickly. This doesn't change our commitment. It strengthens it. He sat quiet for what felt like forever, the lawyer brain in him analyzing every angle. Finally, he said, "It's a lot to process." Rachel grabbed his hand. "I get it. It's big. But think of the possibilities." David pulled his hand back. "I'll think about it." She pushed harder. "We could even do a trial run." David met her eyes. And then, to Rachel's surprise, he agreed. "All right, Ray. If this is really what you want, we can try it. But we need rules." Rachel lit up like she'd won the lottery. "Yes, boundaries, whatever you want." But David wasn't smiling. Not even close. Here's the thing. David didn't just agree to the open relationship. He took her idea and cranked it wide open. "If we're doing this," he said evenly, "we're doing it right. No restrictions. No half measures. Only rule is, no one comes back to our place. Out of respect." Rachel blinked. "That's pretty open. Isn't that the point? Freedom to explore." She fidgeted. "I just thought maybe we'd have more guidelines." David waved her off. "Guidelines defeat the purpose, don't they? Either we're open, or we're not." Rachel looked rattled, but David kept pressing. "When do you want to start? Today? Tomorrow?" Her eyes widened. "Today? Isn't that too soon?" He shrugged. "Why wait? You wanted this, remember?" Rachel squirmed. "Maybe we should think a little more." "Think about it." David leaned forward. "You were pretty adamant last night." Rachel stammered, but David cut her off by pulling out his phone. "Tell you what, I'll set something up right now. Show you how it's done." Her face drained of color. "What? Now?" "Yep. Remember Sophie from work? She's been flirting for ages." He scrolled. "Might as well take her up on it." Rachel's voice cracked. "David, wait." Too late. He hit dial. On speaker. Sophie answered on the third ring. "David? Wow, this is unexpected." David winked at Rachel. "Hey, listen. I've got a proposition." Sophie didn't miss a beat, playing her role perfectly. "Oh my God, I've always wanted this chance. Come over tonight. I'll cook. We'll binge that new series and see where the night takes us." Rachel broke. Full-on tears, mascara streaking down her cheeks. David ended the call cheerfully. "See you tonight." Then turned to Rachel. "Well, that was easy. Your turn." She shook her head violently. "No, please. I don't want this. Forget it." David crossed his arms. "Forget it. Ray, this was your idea. You were so excited." "I was wrong," she sobbed. "Please don't go to Sophie. I love you. I only want you." David let her stew, then stood. "I'm taking a shower. Then I'm heading out." She whispered, broken, "Please don't go." David looked at her, face unreadable. "You wanted it open, Ray? This is what open looks like." And with that, he walked out the door. Instead of going to Sophie's place like he pretended, David drove straight to his parents' house. He spent the night there, laying it all out for them. His mom was sympathetic, his dad was blunt. Better now than after the wedding. Meanwhile, back at their apartment, Rachel unraveled. She cried until her eyes swelled shut, replaying everything in her head. By morning, she was desperate, and when David walked in later that day, he found more than just Rachel waiting. Her parents, Jack and Linda, sat stiff on the couch. Her younger brother, Tyler, was pacing like a caged animal. Rachel looked wrecked, hair messy, eyes bloodshot, clutching tissues like her life depended on it. The second David stepped through the door, Tyler charged. "You cheating scumbag." He shoved at David's chest, ready to swing. David held up his hands. "Whoa, calm down. Don't tell me to calm down." Tyler barked. Jack grabbed his son, dragging him back, while Linda hovered protectively near Rachel. David took a breath, keeping his voice steady. "Before you come at me, maybe ask your daughter for the whole story." Rachel's parents looked confused, but Tyler spat. "What more do we need to know? You called another woman the second my sister gave you an inch." David's jaw tightened. "Did Rachel tell you why I made that call?" Silence. The parents glanced at each other, uneasy. "Didn't think so," David said flatly. "Ask her what she's been pushing these last few days. Ask her whose idea this open relationship was." Rachel crumpled, tears flowing again. "David, please." But he cut her off. "No, Ray. They deserve to know." Then, just as calmly, David dropped the bomb. "The engagement's off." That set Tyler off again, lunging forward, but Jack held him back with all his strength. David stayed calm, voice icy. "Keep this up, and I'll call the cops. You'll all be out of here in handcuffs." The room went tense. Jack finally pulled his son back for good. Before they left, David twisted the knife one last time. "Oh, And by the way, last night, I was at my parents'. Sophie's just a friend who helped me prove a point. Nothing happened. But maybe now you'll finally realize who started this mess." The looks on their faces, shock, embarrassment, and a little bit of shame, were priceless. They shuffled out with Rachel trailing behind, sobbing. From that moment on, Rachel's life nosedived. She begged, called, texted, left voicemails. Even showed up at David's parents' house once, hoping to plead her case. Nothing worked. David shut the door on all of it. Her friends, the same ones who had hyped her into the open relationship idea, tried to console her. He was controlling anyway. You're better off. But the more they said it, the less she believed them. Deep down, she knew the truth. David wasn't the problem. She was. Work at the library became unbearable. Everywhere she looked, reminders of him. The law book he came in for. The corner table where they first talked. Even the smell of his favorite coffee from the cafe across the street. One day, she just quit. Walked out. No notice, no plan. Her parents were worried sick. Her therapist labeled it depression, told her she had to process her emotions and take accountability. Easy to say, hard to do when every thought circled back to David. And then came the worst part, seeing him around town. At the grocery store, grabbing coffee, even hiking the trails again, something he'd given up while they were together. He looked good, happy, relaxed, like the weight of the world had lifted. Sometimes he was with friends, laughing in a way Rachel hadn't seen in years. Sometimes alone, looking peaceful. And when he did see Rachel, he barely acknowledged her. Maybe a nod. Once, Taylor, her old friend, gave her a pity wave, but David? He acted like she didn't even exist. That indifference stung more than hate ever could. Hate would mean she still mattered. Indifference meant she was already a ghost. Rachel's nights became torture. She lay awake replaying every moment, every choice that led here. The endless conversations with her friends, the smug confidence when she first pitched the idea, the look on David's face when he pretended to call Sophie. She saw it all in painful detail. Eventually, she broke. One night, she called her mom, sobbing uncontrollably. "I can't do this anymore. I need to come home." Her mom didn't ask for details, just said, "Your room's ready. We'll get through this together." Packing up the apartment was brutal. Every object was a reminder of what she'd destroyed. The framed photos of her and David grinning in better times. The clothes she'd bought for dates that never happened. Even the stupid burnt pan from that breakfast conversation. Before leaving, she wrote letters she'd never sent. To David, an apology admitting she'd been wrong. To her parents, a thank you and a confession of her failures. To her friends, anger mixed with regret. She stuffed them in a drawer, knowing they'd never see the light of day. Moving back into her childhood bedroom at 28 felt like the ultimate humiliation. But maybe, just maybe, it was the reset she needed. Because for the first time, Rachel had to sit with the truth. She had thrown away the best thing in her life, not because David failed her, but because she let bad advice and insecurity steer her straight into disaster. And as much as she wished she could turn back time, she couldn't. Sometimes rock bottom isn't the end of the story. Sometimes it's just where the real one begins.